the most expensive.
Big bucks. Almost 3 times more than any other World Cup.
$11,000.
Politics, war, security fears.
Nearly $11,000 now.
A ticket to the 2026 World Cup can cost more than a car. Not a VIP package, not a luxury experience, just a seat to watch a football match. And for the first time in history, the biggest tournament in football might not be made for fans at all.
There's been a lot of discussion about the World Cup tickets and like $90 trains. What's your kind of opinion on that?
The World Cup, years ago, the World Cup was like a celebration of the joy of football for the nations go there. And everyone traveled all around the globe, you know, from other continents to see your country, to play there, and everything was affordable. Hopefully they can think about it and make football for the fans.
Because this time, it's different. Not just more expensive, not just harder to reach, but something else entirely.
2,000 of its reserved hotel rooms in Philadelphia ahead of this summer's World Cup.
As immigration tensions escalate, the former president of FIFA is supporting a boycott of the upcoming 2026 World Cup.
Something that's slowly turning the World Cup into something it was never meant to be. But it wasn't always like this.
De por sí, estar nominado y además poder ganarlo con lo que significa este reconocimiento, y creo que es un mimo más hacia todos nosotros y hacia todo un país, ¿no?
I was really young. I was at home watching the match with all the others, and as soon as France won, as soon as we won, we all went outside and climbed over the cars. There were horns sounding. We were all happy.
In that moment, the whole country is together, supporting and cheering for those players, coaches, and everything. That's amazing.
Y sí, hacer un gol en la final del Mundial, creo que es lo máximo. No, los dos lo podemos decir.
Claro, es que no tiene.
For decades, this was football at its purest. The one stage where everything else disappeared, where it didn't matter where you came from, only that you were there. Now, just being there might be the hardest part of all. FIFA is changing a lot of things about the World Cup this year. It is the first time we will see 48 teams, the first time one tournament will be hosted by 3 different countries, and the first time watching one game could cost you up to 5 figures in dollars.
The cheapest tickets for the 2022 and 2018 World Cup finals were priced at $600 and $450 respectively, which is hardly cheap, is it? The cheapest tickets for the 2026 World Cup final start at over $2,000, almost 3 times more than any other World Cup, and there will be about 8 of those seats in total, so high up.
In 2022, travelling to Qatar to watch 3 World Cup games, including the final, could have cost you just about $5,000, depending on where you were coming from. This year, going to the US to watch the exact same 3 games could set you back about $35,000.
The last ticket window for the World Cup opened yesterday, and this is FIFA's official ticket sale. This isn't like a resale platform where you can set your own price. This is FIFA's price, and it's just under $11,000 was the price they were quoting for a Category 1 World Cup final ticket.
But this morning, many fans are holding up a red card on social media over the tournament's ticket prices.
Why are we charging $500 to watch Austria versus Jordan? $1,500 for a group stage game for Brazil versus Morocco.
What ordinary fan can even think about affording that kind of ticket?
Yes, the price of a single ticket at the 2026 World Cup can get you a new car in any country in the world. And it is much crazier when you have context, because those tickets are experiencing a 700% bump from what they were priced at 4 years ago in Qatar, 8 years ago in Russia, 12 years ago in Brazil, and in fact, in all the years before that. This is simply the most expensive World Cup in history, and by a country mile too. Some say that these ticket prices are a reflection of the strong American economy. The American people can afford it, they say. But even citizens of the country are complaining about how expensive the tickets are.
But all I'll say is that The more expensive the tickets get, the less the people that actually need to see it and have that have that passion for the game aren't going to be able to see it.
Parking is a minimum $75 on FIFA's official website, and most rideshare estimates are around $100 round trip. Matches at MetLife Stadium in New Jersey will cost fans $150 round trip to travel there by train. That's more than 10 times the regular fare.
It is bad enough as it is, but it gets worse. Much, much worse. While fans are complaining that the prices of these tickets are ridiculous, they could still get worse because of something called dynamic pricing. Essentially, those tickets, which are already at the most expensive they have ever been in World Cup history, could get even more expensive.
There are genuine concerns about this World Cup, about the use of dynamic ticket pricing, which varies the cost depending on demand.
FIFA has demonstrated that they remain deaf to the criticism to implement this very aggressive marketing policy by trying to sell tickets to an even higher price.
It's a very unpredictable market because they're using variable pricing for the first time, dynamically changing based on demand. So it's uncertain until you get in how much anything is going to cost.
Getting a ticket through FIFA's official platform isn't straightforward. You can wait in a queue for hours and still end up empty-handed. So for many fans, the only way in is through the resale market, and that's where the situation really escalates. On one of FIFA's official resale platforms, tickets have been listed for as much as $2 million.
Tickets for the World Cup final are now available, but they'll set you back more than $2 million on FIFA's official resale site. Say you and 3 friends fancied sitting in these 4 seats to watch the match. That would set you back over $9 million combined. The seats are up for sale on the FIFA Marketplace, an official platform where people can resell their tickets. Now, FIFA doesn't control the asking prices on this portal, with ticket holders essentially able to charge whatever they like. The cheapest ticket currently on the site is just under $11,000.
Now, unless you live in the US, Canada, or Mexico, you will have to worry about more than just the ticket prices if you intend to attend the World Cup this summer. Plane tickets, hotel bookings, everything is expected to spike this summer. In fact, just commuting to and from the stadiums will cost fans a fortune, as even train tickets and cab fares are expected to experience a 700% bump once the World Cup kicks off.
On regular days, a return journey to the New Jersey Stadium costs somewhere around $12.9. Of course, during the World Cup, that goes up to $100. The same for Foxborough as well. It goes from $20 on usual days to now $80. And here's the most shocking part. These aren't long-distance journeys. Penn Station in New York to the MetLife Stadium is barely 28 kilometers, around 30 minutes. What exactly justifies a 7-time price jump?
You want an alternative? You want to go park it, near the stadium? There's a mall nearby. $200 per parking space.
But of course, FIFA hasn't been deaf to all of these complaints. They heard the protests of the fans and decided to do something about it. They introduced $60 tickets. In isolation, that sounds like a great idea, but in reality, it is far from being a solution to the current mess. Here's why.
Now, with this $60 scheme, the cheapest tickets to follow your team to the final is going to be $480. It's expensive, or at least in our opinion, but it's reasonable for international tournament standards. That's for the category 4. Then the next option is category 3. And in category 3, you're at $6,900. The gap is enormous for people that would essentially be sitting in the same section. So you can be in one section of the stadium and have someone next to you that has paid 15 times more or 15 times less, and it doesn't feel right.
Basically, the 2026 World Cup is being set up to fail, both by FIFA itself and also by the United States government. Yes, the US government. You see, it's not even just about how much it could cost you to watch the games. The US is one of the most difficult countries to get access to as a foreigner, so even some fans that can afford to go cannot make the trip due to travel bans.
And FIFA itself, the organization that held the last World Cup in Qatar, a monarchy where migrant workers die building stadiums, is worried about human rights in America. Whether the players on the 32 national teams can get here. Because some of them are from countries that are on Trump's travel bans. Some of them are from countries like Iran. Again, Haiti qualified. First time in 50 years. Most of the Haitian citizens who want to come see their team cannot.
What if I told you people are skipping the World Cup in the United States because they're afraid of immigration? International fans said they felt safer going to Brazil or South Africa than the United States. Why? They're worried about ICE. They're worried about getting stopped at the border, at the airport. They're worried their phone will be searched, or they'll be turned away and deported back home. Some are even reselling tickets.
On top of that, reports say that the US government is attempting to influence the World Cup in ways we have never seen before.
He suggested to President Trump and FIFA President Gianni Infantino that Italy replace Iran at the World Cup.
But it gets worse, much, much worse. Even if we choose to ignore the exorbitant prices for just 1 second, there's still much more that's leaving a cloud over the upcoming World Cup.
A man is in custody in the United States after he breached security and opened fire at the annual White House Correspondents' Dinner in Washington, D.C. The event was attended by President Trump.
We know there are risks to fans and to local communities. There are people being arrested, detained and deported en masse by immigration agents. The scale of that is huge. 500,000 people were deported in the US last year. That's 6 times as many people that will watch the World Cup final.
But recent wave of violence in Mexico's west coast has some people worried about new attacks in popular destinations. And here in the U.S., Florida has a new health scare.
As unrest erupted across Mexico this week, hotels were locked down. Videos showed local businesses on fire. Flights in and out of popular tourist destinations were canceled. U.S. State Department says travelers should exercise increased caution throughout Mexico, with stricter warnings for specific states.
Global fans are scared for their safety if they travel for the World Cup in the US. I mean, if a gunman could breach a gathering in the nation's capital which was attended by the president, how safe then does a random football match in Florida feel? Even the authorities are saying that they are still not prepared for the World Cup.
I know that the local agencies are very anxious, but without receiving this money, it could be catastrophic for our planning and coordination.
So if you don't get the FEMA grants in the next 30 days, the city of Miami is going to have to start canceling because you can't prepare for the security of those sites.
That is correct. We have to start making some really tough decisions. Preparing for all of the watch parties that we're expecting to see will be in jeopardy.
And the release of the FIFA funding would be critical for our staffing because we just don't have enough officers within my own department to cover down on all the threats.
Now, some fans have explored avoiding the US and only attending games in Canada and Mexico, but perhaps even bigger safety concerns have arisen in Mexico in recent weeks.
American tourists in Mexico are facing a second night of shelter-in-place orders in Puerto Vallarta and surrounding areas.
It comes after Mexican security forces took out the leader of a notorious cartel called the Jalisco Cartel. Henchmen, they responded by taking to the streets, killing dozens of people, and setting the city ablaze.
El Mencho came out. They left behind a group with a large quantity of weapons. It really was a very violent attack.
While Mexico's situation has largely returned to normal, they're still advising spring break travelers that crimes and kidnappings remain, the threat of those remain.
Here's the critical detail. Jalisco is scheduled to host World Cup matches. A region battling unrest, tasked with hosting one of the biggest sporting spectacles in the world. And here's where perception becomes reality, because when fans think of Mexico today, they don't just think of football, they think of risk.
All of this has led to talks about a possible boycott of the tournament.
Si on n'est pas accepté en tant que supporter, nos équipes ne devraient pas y aller et nous on devrait boycotter. Sans spectateur, il n'y a pas de sport, il n'y a pas de divertissement.
The boycott calls are coming from different places. First, the fans. A Dutch petition urging a boycott has passed 150,000 signatures, signing US foreign policy and immigration practices. Football insiders and politicians have also joined these calls. Former FIFA governance official Mark Peath has publicly told fans to, quote, stay away from the US. Even ex-FIFA president Sepp Blatter has backed those concerns. Lawmakers in South Africa, Germany, the UK and France have publicly discussed the idea of their national teams boycotting the tournament to send a political message of defiance to the White House. One report suggests that up to 17,000 ticket holders have already cancelled their trips.
To face the reality, Everything that has been happening so far is preparing us for what could be the worst attended World Cup in history. And another one of the clearest indications is the outcry of the hotel industry in the United States.
FIFA hyped the World Cup as an economic juggernaut for the US, but with 5 weeks until the tournament kicks off, the hotel industry says advanced bookings in some host cities are on par or lagging any ordinary summer. Nearly 80% of US hoteliers in 11 World Cup host cities say bookings are tracking below original forecast, with some describing the tournament as a, quote, non-event, according to an American Hotel and Lodging Association survey of members released Monday.
Everyone is lamenting. The fans, the hotels, the airlines, the US tourism industry, everybody. This was not what they were promised. This was not what they were told to prepare for. The American World Cup has been so heavily commercialized that it now feels like it is no longer about football. And this is also evidenced in the introduction of compulsory hydration breaks in every match. Masked as player safety, it is quite obviously a ploy to further commercialize the competition. And that has left fans disappointed and very unhappy.
Like, let's say an English person, for example, that I happen to befriend, that go, oh, I can't watch American football, there's too many commercials. One of the redeeming qualities of soccer, of football, is there are no commercials except for halftime. The game starts and you are watching the game until halftime, and then we come back and we do it all over again. That's going away.
FIFA's adding commercials into the game. They've just made a 90-minute soccer game, a 90-minute football game, into 4 quarters. Yes, the way the NFL does. Yes, the way the NBA does. They essentially have turned it into commercials.
FIFA has also announced that there will be a halftime show in the final of the World Cup for the first time ever.
FIFA's first ever World Cup halftime show for the finale. It will feature multiple artists.
It was already trialled at the Club World Cup last year, also in the US, so football fans knew this was coming. At this point, the 2026 World Cup looks like nothing more than a clear attempt to Americanize and commercialize football, and fans are left to bear the brunt of it all. I mean, we are really watching FIFA at a halftime show that football fans never asked for and forcing them to pay extra for it. Even the players themselves are complaining. A new expanded FIFA World Cup means that the players now have to play more games.
Between 40 and 50 is the amount of games in which a player can perform in the highest level. After that, everything comes, you drop, because it's impossible to sustain the physical level. And I think this years we're gonna go until 70, maybe 80. In my opinion, when I'm when I'm not tired, I perform better. And if the people want to see a better football, we need to rest.
After playing so many games, or being asked to play so many games, that the players will say, I don't want to be part of this, and they'll actually end up like going on strike or refusing to play in such a big kind of calendar.
Yeah, I think we're close to that. And if it keeps this way, it will be a moment that we have no other option.
And of course, more games also means that the fans have to part with more money for tickets. Basically, the fans, the players, the coaches, the workers, everyone is complaining, but FIFA just isn't listening. You see, football used to be the beautiful game, the sport for the people. But this year's World Cup doesn't seem at all interested in following that script. And in case you haven't been reading in between the lines, this is not just about expensive tickets. It is about football completely losing its identity in the chase for the bottom dollar. This is no longer a game. It is now a business. A multi-billion-dollar business where maximum profit is the only goal. It is no longer the people's sport. It is now an exclusive club. It is no longer the World Cup. It is now the cup for a select few. This World Cup might really be the first one not made for fans. While football is being hollowed out for maximum profit and the fans are being priced out of their own game, one man, the most feared striker on earth, decided to walk away from it all. He chose the streets over the stardom and the favela over the fame. To understand why Adriano gave up everything to find himself again, click here to watch his full story.